This is the video Runway Gen-2 gave me. This was created in After Effects using a depth map. And this was used in After Effects using layers and a depth map. As you can see, we got 3 different outputs with the 3 different techniques used. One with Runway Gen-2, the second one with using a depth map created from Photoshop, and the third using layers and transferred that into After Effects with a 3D camera. So let's look at how I put that together so we can see the differences in the output that we get. The first thing to do is select this desk, and I've already done that. So you can see I've basically separated the desk from the background, and I fill this area in with the generative fill with Adobe Photoshop. I'm going to take the selection here since I already have it, and I'm going to take my selection, I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it over to the new document, and I'm going to save it as desk selection, hit OK, and then when I come over here to channels, it's already there. Okay. Now to do a generative fill, what I have to do is I'm going to expand, and let's expand it a little bit more to 8, and then do generative fill. I'm not going to put anything in it. I'm going to see if Adobe Sensei can put this together the way I want it. Did a very good job, actually. So this one is pretty good. Let's see what the next one is. Don't like that, but this is not bad. In fact, I don't mind that at all. I mean, look what it did with the desk. This is pretty good. I'm rather impressed by this, actually. But let's just go back. So now that we have our selection, and so you can see the difference that it did here. I mean, you can see the difference. In this case, it actually put a sofa in the room, and in this case it didn't. Interesting. Okay. Now, there are 2 ways we can animate something when we go from Photoshop to After Effects. We can, as we separate this, and this is the reason why I separated it, we can make this in the 3D and we can zoom in and out, or we can use a depth map. This is what a depth map is. It goes from black to white, the white being furthest away from the camera, the black being closest to the camera, and then you can see we got all of the shades of gray in between. So this is a depth map, and so when we move this over to After Effects, where it's going to allow us to kind of create depth of field without doing all of the other manual labor that you typically have to do. That was the easy part. This was fairly simple. Again, it was just a matter of selecting it. So we can separate the desk from the background. We have our 2 layers now. We have our desk layer, our office, and we have our depth map. So let's go ahead and save that, and then let's move over to After Effects. In After Effects, we're going to bring the desk edit in, import that, and it's going to ask us how do we want to bring it in. We're going to bring it in as editable layers, styles, hit OK, and now you can see we have the individual layers. Now let's go with the first step in creating this. Let's create a new Pause it with the typewriter. Let's bring in our depth map, and then we're going to bring in a camera. And in this case, what I want is a 24 millimeter camera, and I'm picking the 24 millimeter because this is the camera that is closest to how humans actually see the world. Okay, and so we'll just move that up, and I will bring in a null object to control the camera. And now what we want to do is we want to use our depth map, because if we turn off our typewriter, you can see it's the same. We're going to take the typewriter, we're going to come over here to effects. Let's go window, effects and preset, and we're going to go to, and we want to use a displacement map. Now for displacement map, we're going to go effects and mask. We're going to change this to luminous. Okay. And now that we've done that, when we move the horizontal, you can see that it looks like it's rotating. We'll do it slightly, and what we're going to do is that we're going to take both of these and we're going to scale them up. We'll scale up just a little bit. So that way when we rotate, it looks like we get a little bit of movement. All right, and the same thing with up and down. Okay, so you can see there's not much we can move it. Let's go back to 5 and 5. But we can add a 3D effects, and so now when we come in with our position, and we're going to go ahead and 3D affect our position. We have a lot of room, and now we can just animate this for the 6 seconds. So I can start here, and I can just put a position. I go to the end. I'll just zoom in a little. And I just wanted to pan a little bit too. Okay. So we did that. Then we come to the typewriter. Start there. We go to the end and there. All right. We go to -5 to -9. All right. Now we can watch it animate. Let's see if we get some, if we're getting enough movement here. Yeah. Okay, So that was using the displacement map, and maybe we can. So we get a little movement, and we can probably get a little more movement on the camera. Let's see if I. So I can't do it too much here on the camera. And then come to N and go 2. But you need to come over. There. All right. So we get a little bit more movement. So that's using the displacement map and the depth map from Photoshop to kind of animate and give a slight 3D effect on the image. But now we want to use the layers. Okay, now this time what I'm doing is I'm using the desk, the separated desk from the background. And I am going to make them slightly larger again. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to make both of them 3D. And then what I'm going to come over here to do is go to my top camera, and I want the two views. So this is and this is the top, and let me not make it, yeah, we'll make it top. All right, so the background, I'm going to take the background here's the background. I'm going to take the background and I'm going to push it back. Let's push it back to about there. And now we have to scale it up so it fits in the screen. I'm going to scale a little bit larger. Okay. All right. So we have that. We are now going to add, and again, a camera. Go 24 millimeters. And we're going to add a null object to control the camera. All right. Okay. Now in this case, everything is about the camera movement. And maybe we could put a depth map on. Let's see how it goes first. All right, so we're going to start here. And then we are going to zoom in. Do that. And the thing I wanted was for the background to fade into the back, so we'll do something with that as well. But so we have going on here, and what I'm going to do is So that looks pretty good, but I am still going to take my office depth map. I'm going to scale it to 108. Okay. I'm going to turn it off. I don't need it. Okay. Okay, so there it is. And as you can see, not much is going on with this. I just have a depth map. I have a camera that I'm using. I didn't do a lot of work with it. We got fairly easy, and then if I wanted to, I could end up putting some more effects in or something like that. I'm not going to do that for this episode. I just kind of want you guys to see the three different ways we can do this. We can use Gen-2 Runway. We can use the depth map and just animate based on the depth map, or we can separate the layers and use a 3D camera and separate them like that and still use the depth map. The goal here is just to show you that we can elevate the creativity just by incorporating all of these AI tools with the tools we already know how to use. So we're not getting rid of our tools. We're just enhancing them with the AI. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and look forward to bringing you another video soon, mixing tools we already know how to use along with all of these new AI tools coming on the scene.